Well, welcome back to my latest online service. Just before moving on, from time to time, I'm still hearing that people type my name in on just an open-ended YouTube search, and all they seem to get is four different pictures. Well, these are my speaking parts that you're picking up on, and not the whole service. So the secret to this, it doesn't matter which picture you open up, but if you go to the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see my name in small print with a small picture of me. But if you double-click this, it will take you directly to this service, or in fact, you will have the array of choice of all the months of services that I've recorded are still there to be seen as well. Just check the date to make sure that you're watching the one for this weekend, and that should keep you happy. But do keep that in mind because it's very easy to just type in my name thinking this should get to my service, which it does, but you only get my speaking parts. So to move on with that, well, I've sort of joked a few weeks ago as well that I've learned over the course of months that some people, when they get this coming online on a Saturday, usually a Saturday afternoon, you have the choice of Saturday afternoon or a Sunday, but I've since learned that some people are actually doing that, looking at it on Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So I'm delighted that you're finding a lead to this week by week, even if you're using it as a midweek filler. That's the main thing. And of course, the whole idea of my channel is that some people might not be getting back to church so far. Some might now have become infirm and unable to go back to church. And even some people who might not be fully religious in any way might still wish to have a peek at what I've got to say each week. After all, it's only about 30, 35 minutes, so it's not a terribly long service to be part of. But enough of my rambling this morning, and let me officially say good morning, whether it's afternoon, evening, or whatever. Welcome to my channel. The Reverend John Mitchell, retired minister of the Church of Scotland. And one big difference I've noticed since last week is the shortening of daylight hours, a very clear reminder that autumn has most definitely arrived. My mention of being retired from the Church of Scotland has had me reflect on my full-time ministry, and now looking in from the outside where the church is facing difficult times. The pandemic has brought its own troubles, forcing even the closure of the church's doors last year and the restrictions still not fully lifted. I read an article a few days back by the Bishop of Sheffield, I think it was, reflecting upon exactly the same crisis the Church of Scotland is facing with them, namely affordability of ministry, crumbling buildings, too many buildings, and now plans are afoot in the Church of Scotland as well to turn around this worrying time for many congregations and their futures. Hence the reason of my choice of pre-service hymn, which you've just heard, "To God be the glory," and particularly to the first line of the third verse, where we read there, "Great things he has taught us, great things he has done." God is with us, and that remains a central point in what's happening and about to happen in the church across the land. This morning's service will reflect more on this, with the calls to desist the gloom and remain focused and fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. That leads us quite neatly to turn to our first hymn this morning. I serve a risen Saviour.